Well, g'day, and this is Pedro Harvey, and this month we are fishing at the premier, I think, trout lake in, yes, I will say it, Australia. Now that's a huge claim to make, but I think Lake Toolondo has been absolutely going off all year long, and I can see why. This lake is just so full of weed life. It's prolific, possibly a little bit too prolific actually, because it's hard to get a cast out there, but obviously the weed attracts enormous quantities of small insects, in particular mud-eye and damselflies, dragonflies. The lake is full of them. We've been searching through logs and finding them everywhere. And we're staying at the famous Wash Tomorrow Caravan Park. And later on, we're going to have an exclusive interview with the owner, Bob Haynes. And it's a pretty basic place down there, and there's not much to do other than fish, and you're actually very isolated here. So I don't know why anyone hasn't put one and one together, but if we got the boat people who we're putting in Nauru and Papua New Guinea, chuck them down there in Wash Tomorrow Caravan Park, we'd save millions of dollars. Look, like my parents after the war, they had to work for 2 years out in the country. They could fix the place up. Couldn't they, Andrew?
Yeah, they sure could.
They could build beautiful cabins, stone houses for the fishermen, and they wouldn't go anywhere because there's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. It's perfect. So Tony, if you're listening, have a think about that. But what we're going to do is we're going to get out on that lake and see what we can catch, and yeah, get on with it. Well, we're just moving to shore to look for some mud-eyes, and we're still quite a way offshore, but geez, the water is just utterly full of weeds. So clearly it's a very rich area just for food source. You can see
that bug? What's that bug?
Damselflies. What's that? Oh, it's a little mud-eye in the water swimming around. This place is loaded with food. It's out of control, really. I've never seen anything quite like it. We've just turned over some logs to look for mud-eyes, and look at the teams and teams of these cases of mud-eyes. There's just bazillions of them here. All right, we're just going to see if we can find any of these freshwater mussels.
Hey, look at that.
You got one?
Yeah, there's one.
Will you look at that? Bloody hell, that's big. That's as big as a saltwater mussel. Try that one for bait. Well, here it is at 5:45 a.m. on Saturday morning, 38 degrees today. Not at the moment, it's 19, nice and windy, and we're tying up to this log. We've got a beautiful sunrise out over there. I'm hoping this roughened water will help the fish bite more freely. Let's see. All right, look at me, mate. I've got a big fish here, look at that. Oh-ho! 5 a.m. action. Sorry, make that 6 a.m.
You beauty. Bring it in, mate.
He is not a small fish, and I'm so glad I've got a $500 reel here, because the drag is just going off so smooth in this ultra-load setup.
How heavy does it feel?
Oh, it's a good size. It's a good size. Must be a couple, 2, 3, 4 pound, 5 pound, 6 pound, who knows?
Yeah.
Well, is that worth getting up at the crack of dawn for? Wow, that's a nice brown. He was going nuts.
Hold it right out to the camera so the viewers can see. It's a good fish.
Short of trout. Oh, there he goes. All right, I've picked up another little rainbow here. I'm not going to be too careful with him because I don't care if I lose him. Oh, there he goes. He's just a little one. Do we keep him, mate?
No. Chuck him away. That's the way. Revive him.
Just got to revive him, not like the last one.
Gee, the boat's almost tipping over.
Oh, geez, he doesn't want to go.
Yeah, he's healthy.
He's going. He's going.
He's saying, thank you very much. There he is.
All right. Well, we've been sleeping here on the floor of the boat, and they're woken up by a screaming reel. Not a bad sound to be woken up by. Mad Dog's hooked something here. It seems like it's pretty substantial. Let's have a look what it is. All right, Mad Dog's on here. Let's hope he doesn't stuff this one up. Whoa! Snapped him off! Whoa! Did you hear the snap in the line? And there he goes!
Another one lost.
And how do you feel, mate? That's your second one for today. She's
ripped off.
All right, we're talking to Bob Haynes here, who's the manager, owner, and I think you said the toilet cleaner of the Wash Tomorrow Caravan Park. Now, Bob, can you tell us Why is this place called the Wash Tomorrow Caravan Park?
When I first looked at this place to buy it, I thought, that's the first thing I'm going to do is change the name of the caravan park. Because I've got 2 ex-wives and neither of them would entertain staying in a caravan park that said it was the Wash Tomorrow Caravan Park. Because both of them would say, I want to wash today. But there's an article in the local paper a few years back that explained the origin of the Wash Tomorrow Caravan Park. It's named after a swamp here called the Wash Tomorrow Swamp. Back in the early days, when the settler women were around the place, at times the only water source was the Wash Tomorrow Swamp. And they'd go to the swamp, utilise the water to wash their clothes. And as you know, as women do, whenever they'd see one of their mates around the place elsewhere, they'd say, wash tomorrow? Which meant that they'd meet down at the Wash Tomorrow Swamp to wash clothes, because there's nothing more boring than washing clothes, so you may as well have somebody to yak to. So they'd gather at the Wash Tomorrow Swamp, which has a Wash Tomorrow river feeding it, or creek, to wash their clothes. So
There you go.
that's the story that was published. If somebody's got a different story, well, okay.
Well, look at this fly fishing action here, right down by the boat ramp. This bloke, he's picked up this fish that was just rising in the shoreline, and he's just trying to bring him in now. There's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of commotion, there's a lot of nerves. Well, here they come. They've netted the fish, these guys, and they're pretty happy with it. Boys, can you tell us about what happened out there?
Stock and receive. Look at that.
We saw him rise.
Fucking hell.
That's a big fish. Actually, that's bigger. That's bigger than the ones we got yesterday. That's about 1.5. That's definitely 1.5. No, it's about the same size, isn't it?
About the same size.
1.5 kilos, I'd say.
2 kilo.
Wow, look at the size of that.
On a mud eye.
That's the pattern he used.
Yep.
Did you tie that one yourself?
No.
Wow, you look at that.
Yeah. Off an 80
Nice.
year old.
Nice fish.
Well, here we are, another big rainbow. This time's been caught just off the shore with mud eye. Can you tell us how you caught this fish, sir?
Just threw a mud eye, a live mud eye,
Under a bubble float.
under a bubble float, around the base of a tree, and it slammed it straight away.
Look at that, nice fish.
Yeah. Do you want to weigh
Big
it?
one.
I wouldn't mind to.
He's about 2.
Okay, so here we are talking to one of the blokes who's got a cabin on site, John, from Bacchus Marsh, isn't it?
Correct.
Now, what would lead a man to have a cabin in such an apparently desolate place?
Well, it's been a while since I had got here before I put the establishment up here. I used to come and fish a fair bit, and I got to know a few of the people in the park here itself, and it sort of got me back here, and I wanted to put a place here to make new friends. Fishing just a second, option here.
And how do you...
regulars up here?
Yeah, there's people who stay here. There's probably about half a dozen people who are on site all the time. But we all get up here, every couple of months.
And how do you rate the fishing here?
Well, it is dynamite when it's on. The fish there this morning were biting like crazy.
Well, here we are at the giant koala. We're on our way home. Enough fishing for today. And I have here a letter I picked up from Bob Haynes, owner of the caravan park. And I didn't know this, but most of the water at Toolondo, it actually comes from Rocklands Reservoir, which has got about, 3.5-4 times more water, and they are crying out for about 5,000 megalitres to be let into Toolondo, and it needs it, because in Feb there's going to be bad evaporation there. The water's already only 3 metres deep, and he's got this letter you can sign and you can send off to Mr. Hugh Delahunty, who's the member for Horsham, to tell him to put some more water in there. Now, I will be changing this letter a bit and writing that, because I am concerned about Toolondo. Isn't it a tragedy to have a world-class fishery go to ruin just because of mismanagement? So until next time at Pedro Harvey, We wish you tight lines.